with 36 for 7, thanks in no small part to a fantastic second Test century from Yashasvi Jaiswal, who was batting on 179 at stumps. Jaiswal has so far faced 257 balls and his knock included 17 fours and 5 sixes, one of which raised his century on a day in which his batting teammates flattered to deceive. Every single batter got a start, but only Jaiswal was able to get to 50, which underlines how things could have really been far worse for the home side. After winning the toss and opting to bat, skipper Rohit Sharma was the first wicket to fall with 40 on the board in the 18th over, as he became the debutant off-spinner Shoaib Bashir's first Test wicket, edging to leg slip. Shubman Gill made 34 of 46 balls before another loose shot saw him edge 41-year-old pacer James Anderson behind the wicket. Shreyas Iyer made 27 before undercutting a ball from Tom Hartley to Ben Foakes. The debutant, Rajat Patidar, he looked good during his 32, which ended with a loose defensive prod to Rehan Ahmed that rolled onto the stumps. Akshar Patel's contribution was an innings of 27 that ended when he sliced Bashir to point. And KS Bharat was the 6th Indian wicket to fall soon before stumps when he cut Ahmed to Bashir at point. These sloppy dismissals were in stark contrast to how watchful and confident Jaiswal was as he batted with responsibility while not hesitating to play the big shots. Be it spin or pace, the left-hander looked very assured at the crease, and the manner in which he raised 3 figures with a 6 off Hartley underlined the brilliance of the youngster on a day where others got starts but failed to cash in on a good surface. So India have laid themselves a brilliant platform led by the young left-hander at the top. After a sparkling innings of 171 on his Test debut in Dominica 6 months ago, Jaiswal had struggled for form in South Africa and last week in Hyderabad made a stroke-filled 80 during India's innings and 15 in the second innings. Playing his second Test match on home soil, the 22-year-old was the team's bedrock on day 1 in Vishakapatnam as he batted all day for a superb 100. From the start of the day, Jaiswal looked as if he was batting on a different pitch from his teammates. And having got a start, he ensured it was counted for with a massive score. Such tracks have been rare in India over the past few years, and sensing the opportunity, Jaiswal made sure he scored big runs on this flat wicket against an inexperienced bowler, as he himself said after the day's play. Jaiswal was determined to take it session by session, and that is what he did in stunning manner, hitting the spinners off their lines by using the cut shot and lofted drive in particular. And whenever the veteran seamer James Anderson came on to bowl, Jaiswal shunned any extravagance and duly gave the man who has 691 Test wickets the respect he is due. 179 not out at stumps. Jaiswal told the host broadcaster that he intends to double it up. Those are ominous signs for England, who despite being 1 wicket away from the tail have to find a way to get past the immovable object known as Yashasvi Jaiswal at the moment. Now, leading into this Test match from the days on, from India's 28-run loss in Hyderabad, the debate of which uncapped batter should get a chance in Vishakapatnam has raged. On the eve of this match, both Rajat Patidar and Sarfaraz Khan looked very good in the nets, and on game day, the team management, though, decided to hand maiden Test cap to Patidar, who's been part of India's squads before Sarfaraz. Patidar's recent form for India A, as well as his domestic experience, which included a century in the Ranji Trophy final 2 seasons ago for champions Madhya Pradesh, saw the 30-year-old step into the Indian team. He was batted at number 5 and walked to the crease at the fall of Shreyas Iyer, and he took his time to set about scoring runs. But it was not long before Parida played some fine cuts and drives, particularly off England's spinners, to show a wider audience what all the fuss was about. He may only have made 32 runs before a loose prod saw the ball take the inside edge and roll on to the stumps. But with Shubman Gill not having crossed 36 in his last 12 Test innings and Shreyas Iyer failing to get past 35 in his previous 11, the debutant has put his hand up. Two batters will have to make way once Virat Kohli and KL Rahul return. And if Parida can contribute another handy knock in this Test match, he could be one of the players the team sticks with. Okay, talking about Rajat Patidar and Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill, we've got to also put the focus on Shubman Gill. Once again, he failed to convert his good start into a big knock. The 24-year-old batter looked in control after India had lost captain Rohit Sharma early. Gill scored 34 of just 41 deliveries. He had struck 4 boundaries during that brief stay in the middle before deflecting a James Anderson delivery to Ben Foakes behind the wickets. It's been 12 innings for Shubman Gill without a Test match 50. Today's 34 has been his second best Test innings since scoring a century against Australia in Ahmedabad in March 2023. Gill had scored 23 and in the first innings of the series opener against England in Hyderabad. In the second innings, he was dismissed for a duck, becoming one of the 7 victims of debutant spinner Tom Hartley. Okay, another debutant, Shoaib Bashir, made his debut in the second Test match against India and straight away showed why England was so keen on getting him to the subcontinent. Bashir's maiden Test wicket was none other than that of captain Rohit Sharma as he dismissed him cheaply on day 1. Bashir, one of the 2 debutants in this match, along with Rajat Patidar, was off to a gleeful start. As he had Rohit out caught at leg slip in only his 4th over after England were asked to bowl on day 1. Bashir added another scab to his wickets tally, dismissing Akshar Patel on 27. The 20-year-old had arrived late to India due to complications with his visa, but his captain Ben Stokes had no qualms about adding him to the playing 11 straight away. Bashir has only played 6 first-class games, having signed for Somerset ahead of the 2023 season, and his current record is an unspectacular 10 wickets at 67. However, he impressed on a Lions training camp in the UAE, taking 6 wickets against Afghanistan A in front of Brendan McCullum and Rob Key. Ben Stokes also revealed his first exposure to Bashir came about through social media, bowling an impressive spell to Alistair Cook on his first-class debut for Somerset against Essex. Now, on to some news about Ravindra Jadeja, and that's not good for India, who are down 1-0 in the 5-match series with England. The veteran all-rounder is not playing the ongoing Test in Vishakapatnam due to a hamstring injury. Now, reports suggest that damage to the muscle could be more than feared initially. Jadeja and KL Rahul, India's top run getters in the first Test in Hyderabad, did not travel with the team to the second Test. While Rahul was spotted at the Mumbai airport on Thursday, Jadeja had shared a video where he's seen running briskly at the NCA. However, his injured hamstring is painting a worrisome picture. It was assumed that Jadeja would recover in time for the third Test, especially the video from the NCA also gave some hope. But now the news is emerging that he's all but out of the third Test. He also remains a doubtful starter for the fourth Test as of now. A long string of injuries, they've been pulling Jadeja down since the beginning of 2021, and 2024 couldn't have begun on a more despairing note for the Indian all-rounder. If you are planning to watch the T20 World Cup in USA and the West Indies, you can grab your tickets now to avoid last-minute uncertainties. The International Cricket Council has kept a public ticket ballot in operation for 7 days. The tickets will not be issued on a first-come, first-served basis. All applicants within the 7-day window will have an equal chance of obtaining tickets. Fans can apply for up to 6 tickets per match for up to 6 matches during the ballot period, which will close on 7th of February. The ICC has put over 260,000 tickets on sale in the first window. ICC head of events Chris Tetley said that they're thrilled to launch the tickets for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup, and that the ticket ballot process will give all fans from across the world an equal opportunity to get their hands on a ticket. The applications can be made at any point over the next 7 days as long as it is submitted by the closing time and date. Following the completion of the ballot, any remaining tickets will go on general sale on 22nd of February. The tickets have been priced between $6 and $5 to ensure that they remain accessible to the majority of fans. And after the closure of the ballot, successful applicants will receive an email confirming that they've been allotted tickets for whatever matches they'd applied for. Okay, now on to Formula One, and seven-time Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton is leaving Mercedes for Ferrari. Hamilton has initiated formalities to leave Mercedes. It means Hamilton would team up with Charles Leclerc, with the Italian team announcing a week ago that the Monegasque had signed on for several more seasons.
Excitement is in the air at the Ferrari headquarters. The Formula One outfit, decorated with some leading names on the wheels like Michael Schumacher, Kimi Raikkonen and Sebastian Vettel in the past, has announced another major signing. The trio shares 12 F1 Drivers' Championship titles between them, and Schumacher leads the pack with a joint world record 7 crowns. Now, the man who shares the world record for the most F1 Championship titles with Schumacher is set to walk into the Ferrari camp. The Italian F1 team is roping in 7 times Formula One Drivers' Champion Lewis Hamilton. The ace British race car driver has activated a release option in his contract and will leave Mercedes at the end of the season.
Actually, as a Tifosi, obviously I'm so excited to have a 7-time world champion to join Ferrari and line up with Charles Leclerc. So I can see them competing very strong against Red Bulls and Mercedes and Aston Martin.
Hamilton is a great pilot. In my opinion, he's very skilled, and I think Ferrari also needs him.
It means that Hamilton would now team up with Charles Leclerc, with the Italian team announcing a week ago that the Monegasque had signed on for several more seasons. He's expected to join Ferrari in 2025 in a sensational move that has been the talk of the sport.
Oh, I would be a happier person than a Ferrari. You see, even though I'm not from Ferrari, but Ferrari is an institution, right? And if a champion like him comes, it's a beautiful thing. Well, there you go.
The 39-year-old Briton is set to replace Spanish driver Carlos Sainz and will give the Italian team a world championship in one of their cars for the first time since Germany's Sebastian Vettel left in 2020. The biggest driver move since Hamilton left a winning McLaren for a then unproven Mercedes at the end of 2012 came as a surprise despite the speculation over the years that it could happen. Hamilton is the sport's most successful driver and Ferrari is the oldest, most glamorous and most successful team, and both are hungry to end lean periods. The driver has not won a race since December 2021 and Ferrari have not won a title since 2008.
With that, time for us to slip into a short break. But when we come back, what happened in the match between Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo? Details up ahead.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Inter Miami suffered another drubbing on their tour of Saudi Arabia, and this one on Thursday night was much bigger than the earlier one. Lionel Messi was confined to the bench until the 83rd minute. The damage was done much before the Argentina's World Cup champion captain before he could walk out onto the field. He could do nothing to stop Al Nassr winning the friendly 6-0 with an unfit Cristiano Ronaldo watching the proceedings from the sidelines. Inter Miami trailed 0-3 inside 12 minutes and never appeared to make a comeback thereafter. When the 36-year-old Messi took the field, Miami were already down 0-6. he could not do much in the dying minutes of the match. Now, earlier this week, Messi had converted a penalty in the 54th minute before he was substituted 2 minutes from time in Miami's 3-4 loss against Al Hilal. The match was billed as possibly the last chance for the multiple Ballon d'Or winners to face each other on the pitch. Messi too encountered fitness issues before the match. To fans' disappointment, Messi started on the bench due to a minor muscle injury, and Ronaldo anyway was sitting out. In fact, Al Nassr last week had cancelled their 2-game China tour due to the absence of the 38-year-old Cristiano Ronaldo. And Messi and Inter Miami have reached Hong Kong after their tour of Saudi Arabia, where they lost both their matches. Team arrived in a private jet from Riyadh after that shocking 0-6 defeat against Al Nassr. A welcome ceremony has been planned for the team. Now, Miami players and staff assembled on a stage positioned by the plane, and they were presented with a bouquet of flowers by local children there. Avoiding the arrival hall, the squad were transferred directly to their hotel. Miami are to play an exhibition game against a team drawn from the city's Premier League at Hong Kong Stadium on Sunday, with Messi, widely considered the best player of his era, being the star attraction for the local fans. Members of the Miami squad also include notable names like Uruguayan Luis Suarez and Spaniards Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets. Sunday's match forms part of Miami's pre-season tour that will take in 5 countries and cover about 24,000 miles. On to golf, as Jon Rahm gets set to make his live golf debut this weekend at El Camaleon Golf Club in Mayakoba, Mexico. He expressed appreciation for the support that has come from what would have been an unlikely source less than a year ago. Rory McIlroy, once heavily critical of live golf and the players that joined the upstart tour, has changed his tune so much of late that the PGA Tour star no longer thinks players who have moved on should be prevented from also playing PGA Tour events. He also believes players from both tours should be eligible, in fact, to play in the Ryder Cup. McIlroy showed further understanding of players defecting to live in light of good friend Tyrrell Hatton also committing there in advance of the new season.
I've spoken to Rory a bit in the past week and back in December, so
got 2 firsts for John. Can you just describe what the last couple of months have been like? Obviously, it was quite the big move that you've made.
Well, the weeks leading up to the announcement weren't the easiest, right? I have to wait a lot, basically get enough info to then make an informed decision, right? And even through the process of negotiations, that was very, very, very deep waters compared to what I'm used to, right? I had to be more involved than I thought I was going to have to be. But once the announcement was made, I think everything became a lot easier, right? Having to keep the secrecy and not being able to talk to anybody about it was difficult. So, again, once it became public, the reaction was pretty much what I expected. The ones that are close friends that maybe had an idea or not has supported me, and there's obviously some people are going to disagree with any decision we make in life. So pretty much in line with what I expected, but it was nice to have some time after that, before my first competition round in Live Golf, to process and then actually kind of refocus and get to work. I haven't spoken to him a lot recently, but he might have had a change in thought process, as in maybe with some of the things he said in the past, right? I think he might be seeing that the landscape of golf is changing, and at some point you need to evolve, right? So I think he might be seeing that, and again, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it's nice to have the support from a player in the caliber of Rory, right? Especially those Ryder Cup remarks he made early on. I think that's an important statement for change to be said.
I've spoken to Rory a bit in the past week and back in December, so that's kind of along the lines of what he said to me. So it's not a surprise to to hear him say that in the media. Yeah, ultimately, I would like to still be able to play events on the other two tours, but you know, we'll see how all that works out.
With that, time for us to wrap this show up. Hope you enjoyed this bulletin. Goodbye. Thanks for watching.
On October 27, 2023, the world awakened to a new crisis. A new turn in a 70-years-old civil war. One that has grave implications not just for India, but also regional stability in Southeast Asia. Today, News9 looks at the mayhem in Myanmar. For decades, Tatmadaw, Myanmar's military junta, held the nation in a tight vice-like grip, but not anymore. Myanmar is undergoing a seismic shift as a coalition of ethnic rebel groups known as the Three Brotherhood Alliance launched Operation 1027. A series of coordinated offensives challenging the military junta's rule. This alliance, consisting of the Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, the Tang National Liberation Army and the Arakan Army, seeks to overthrow the military regime. Over the course of the last month, the rebels overran large parts of the country, seizing towns and military outposts. According to analysts, rebels now control over 50% of Myanmar, and the military installed President Min Aung, warning that Myanmar is in danger of breaking apart.
The Three Brotherhood Alliance, comprising rebel groups like the MNDAA, the TNLA and the Arakan Army, have been successfully challenging the military junta's rule. They've made significant territorial gains in coordinated offensives. Now, reports suggest that the junta is now restricted to just a few large cities. And at the moment, the military still has the edge when it comes to air power. However, the Tatmadaw army, the Burmese military, appears to be extremely short on manpower, supplies and ammunition. They're holding out now for a long and bloody struggle.
The conflict that now reaches in Myanmar has its origin in one moment. On the morning of 1 February 2021, Myanmar's democratically elected ruling party, the National League for Democracy, was deposed in a coup. But the junta was not entirely successful. Resistance to the Tatmadaw survived in the form of a national unity government, the People's Defence Forces, and a number of ethnic rebel groups. Now it appears that the opposition forces have united. Geopolitical dynamics, ethnic tensions, and historical grievances are all playing a role in the present conflict.
Chairman Min Aung staged a coup and he didn't have the election as he promised. He said, within 1 or 2 years he will have a new election. But until now, about 3 years passed, still no election.
The junta's actions in the past 2 or 3 years haven't really helped. But the truth is, Myanmar has always had a sort of fractured polity. The northern part of the country is home to almost a dozen rebel groups who've been waging their own independence struggles for over 70 years. But what's different now, today, is the fact that the rebel groups are united. And for the first time in history, there's a concerted effort to defeat the junta. The alliance has been gaining ground through strategic coordination, exploiting vulnerabilities in the military's control. It enjoys support from anti-junta factions, and this